I had an idea for a high fashion shoot, so let's figure it out. I'm breaking down the inspiration and production behind the shoot in a series I'm calling The Creative Brief. Creativity usually starts with a feeling, and lately I've been craving something more moody, sharp, and a little bit more surreal. I found a location with a dope top light. The ceiling is amazing, and it has one party trick for really good cinematic lighting, but I'll talk more about that later on. Now, when I saw this studio, I immediately thought of the Bat Cave from the movie The Dark Knight. That sterile, underground bunker look, but with gorgeous futuristic lighting. I wanted a mix of minimalism and tension, like the model is in her own world, suffocated in a black box. Sleek, modern, but also, fashion photography. I shot digital, medium format, and 35mm film, photographing textures and tones that felt high fashion, but still DIY because I shot all this by myself. Now, the location itself was part of the vision, so it had to really live up to the visuals I had in my head. Now, the big party trick about this LED ceiling was it was RGB, so you could control the color and you could add different colors to, different areas. And you can also shut off different sections of the light, so you can add more contrast or make it brighter or make it darker in different pools of light. Now, for pre-production, I started gathering my visuals, references I found on Instagram and Pinterest. Then I organized everything into a couple mood boards on Canva. Canva is what I usually use for all this. Canva made it really easy to lay out my shoot inspiration with notes and context, and it also helped me map out the wardrobe pieces that I was sourcing because I styled this whole thing myself. When you're doing projects solo, tools like Canva, I think, really keep you organized and streamlined. Now, my favorite part, the gear. I'm keeping this kind of a little bit more streamlined. I was shooting digital on my Canon R5C paired with my 28-70 lens. For film, I was bringing out the Mamiya 645 AFD and my newly acquired Nikon F4. Now, as far as films, I used Kodak 200, which really screwed me at one point because I didn't know it was in my Mamiya 645. And then I used Portra 400 and Portra 800. Now, for the cinematography, I tried to keep it as compact as possible, but I used my Pixis 12K. I shot everything in 8K in the open gate mode, and I paired that with my Blazer Mantis 35mm. Now, I knew I was doing everything by myself, so lighting wise, I tried to keep it simple. I relied on the ceiling light, and I brought a Forza 500 and a big softbox. For the first look, I wanted something reflective, relaxed, and sexy. I had the model in a all-black trench coat, some heels, a black kind of see-through maxi dress, played around with shadows, had the model on a couch, and for the lighting, I used the ceiling panel pretty much as the main, but I really messed with the controls so it would kind of, fall off into darkness in certain areas. And then I either took my Forza 500 and I blasted it directly on her with, a little bit of hard light, or I blasted it on the ceiling to give it a little bit more fill light onto the face. For the second look, I wanted something minimal and bold. I had the model in a white top, satin skirt, and stockings, nothing else, nothing too distracting. I tried to use more negative space in the room and just had her pose and have fun in the environment. Now, for this setup, I wanted it to be kind of blown out, so I had all the ceiling lights completely turned on, and I kind of relied more on the top light for this one in terms of some of the images, but then I also used the Forza 500 in a softbox and kind of used it as a fill. Then later on, I really liked the look of her, holding a purse on her, kind of just covering up with a purse or sitting on the couch. So then I wanted that to go into darkness. So once again, I cut off the wonderful ceiling lights in certain areas so that it would fall off into shadow. And I really like the way these images turned out. Probably my favorite images of the day. Now for the third look, the coolest thing about this whole studio to me is the RGB. So I changed the RGB ceiling. I introduced some red tones. I wanted it to feel dark, moody, and like dangerous. I had the model once again in a black lace dress, but this time I put her in like a black leather jacket because I wanted it to feel shiny and reflective. If the other two looks were more relaxed, I wanted this one to feel a little bit more bold, and I think it really turned out well. And I was not afraid of this one being kind of underexposed and really going into darkness. Lighting wise, I used the Forza 500, really dim, shooting a basically daylight balanced light, and then I had the red tones filling the whole area. Now, at the end of the day, this whole shoot was about taking an idea from a mood board to a location to a finished product and trusting the process. Was it perfect? No. If it was up to me, I would have wanted more time to set up, more time for the lighting in the studio. I also would have loved to have a team, a stylist, makeup artist, a couple assistants to help me move lights and stuff like that. But I was short on resources and I was short on time if you watch this channel, I'm a dad, I work full time, so it's hard for me to get a lot of time for these shoots. It was a great learning experience on this shoot, especially since I'm still building my confidence with film photography. I'm getting really excited shooting more and more of it, even though I'm sucking in a lot of ways, but it's really fun. Moving forward, I want to do more creative briefs, basically little spec photography ads and shoots, and I can't wait to share more of them on the channel. Now, that's all I have to say. Let me know if you have any questions on photography or videography. Peace.